I am going to call the meeting to order. We have resolution number 214-24. Be it resolved that the meeting be convened at 7 PM with Mayor Ray Muirhead and the chair. Moved by.
Mike,
Seconded by.
Bill,
All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We're gonna have the roll call. Muirhead, present. Kalinowicz, present. Anderson, present. Ray, present. Sudak, present. Youth Councilor Boganis. Yeah, but we'll give him a few minutes.
Yeah.
We'll have the adoption of the agenda. We have resolution number 215-24. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of September 16th, 2024 be adopted as circulated. Moved by.
Yep.
Seconded by.
Mike,
Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Adoption of the minutes, we have resolution number 216-24. Be it resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of August 13th and the joint committee meeting of August 26th be adopted as circulated. Moved by.
Bill,
Seconded by.
Debbie.
Debbie. Anything, any questions, comments? Straightforward, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. Welcome, Krista. I'll mark you present.
Hello,
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. We are at delegations and we have a delegation at 7 o'clock from Normal Films Canada, filming in Carberry. Hello.
Hi.
We'll go around the table, just do introductions. I will start. I'm Ray Muirhead, I'm mayor of the town of Carberry.
Mike, Sudak, council.
Debbie, right, absolutely.
I'm Boganis, I'm the student counselor from CC.
John Anderson, counselor. Bill Kalinowicz, counselor.
John McNeely, report.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
The
Thank you
floor
for
is
the
yours.
opportunity.
Oh, I was gonna tell you, as delegations, you have 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll do this very quickly then.
Okay, all right.
My name is Kathy Edgar, I'm the location manager for the film, which is also called Normal, as well as the film company. So I know that there's been a lot of talk, so we're quite, we've been back and forth and in the community a lot, so I think a lot of people sort of know what's going on and the papering letters. So I just wanted to do a really quick little movie synopsis for you, just so you know what the movie is actually about. It's an action movie starring Bob Odenkirk, and Normal follows the story of Ulysses, that's his character in the movie, who was thrust into the temporary role of a sheriff of a small town, sleepy town of Normal after the previous one's untimely death. When the town's bank is robbed by an out-of-town couple, Ulysses arrives on the scene to find that the town is hiding much more sinister, deep-seated secrets under its surface, and everyone from the bartender to the priest is in on it. And now Ulysses, who now, up till now, focused only on running away from the demons of his past, must uncover what's going on. So Normal is really not. And Bob Odenkirk, I think some people might know, he was in, best known for Better Call Saul. He's working on his second movie in Winnipeg. He did a movie called Nobody a few years ago. Right now, they're halfway through production for Normal too. So this movie, this particular movie, he is actually one of the producers. So, and I just wanted to sort of let people know, I myself in Manitoba, I've been involved in the industry for over 20 years. Location manager, I sort of came back into prep. I'm not going to be with everyone for the full run of the show, but it's so busy in Winnipeg right now. I actually work as in another category now, plus I have another project on the go. So a gentleman by the name of Neil Batch will be taking over as location manager. And I'll make sure he's starting next week, and then we'll come and say hi to everybody. Everybody, number one, I want to say thank you. The town of Carberry has been more than welcoming to us, and all of the things when we've been up and down the street, and every time there's one or two of us and then 10 of us and a busload of us, and it will only get bigger. We're talking about filming, just so you know, the first discussion had been the first week of December. And where there's a possibility we might move it up a week to the week of November 25th, just for a variety of scheduling reasons. And we're trying to keep it within the 5 days. And I can leave these with you and I'll just ask that you don't post them online or anything like that, but it's basically what we would like to do to create your Main Street into Main Street of Normal, Minnesota. So a lot of it is just, adding exterior touches, whether it be paint, awning, posters and, and doing things like that. There are a few storefronts that we definitely will be doing things on the inside, but because it's an action movie, there's so much things that would be happening in there, we're not planning to do a lot of the action. We'll take it back to a stage in Winnipeg so that we can really, shoot them up and really ruin the place, So we will have stages though where we will put in candy glass, switch out windows. So we're dealing with, about 4 or 5 businesses at that level, but we'll be dealing, and I think that location is with about 40 people that I think we have managed to talk to everyone at least once, if not twice, and then we'll go through the whole process. So as a production company, we'll provide a certificate of insurance, and I'm happy to do that for the town of Carberry as well. We have a $10 million liability policy, and then we do that for each individual building owner as well. We'll talk about a location agreement, and it's on my list. I need to call Brianne at the Carberry Foundation and talk to her about. And I did a dog's purpose and we recreated in all of the Main Street in Vernon, very similar. We had to put it back into the 60s. So, so we want to talk about what we can do with the town foundation as well as dealing, there's obviously financial compensation for people whose businesses or homes were going in. But, we'd like to leave something for the town as well, or for the community. And then it just sort of the economic spin-off, just besides that, we are going to have, our prep crews will be starting about 3 weeks out. So they will live here Monday to Friday, so there will likely be, I would suggest, more of the if we can get them up on the Robin's Nest and if there's rooms, and some people might have to default to Brandon.
Right.
But they will be here, in hotels and getting their meals or buying groceries or how we're gonna work that, and then Monday to Friday. And so that'll be 3 weeks of likely about another 15 to 20 people, give or take, that will be, in the community. Locations will have someone that will be here the whole time they're here to work as the liaison, and it's Milt Perchansky who actually scouted the movie too. So he's met with Kara a number of times, so he's just the perfect fit for this. And once again, I've worked with Milt for about 20 years, so he's, he'll be very mindful and caring for the community and making sure that we do everything, properly and not get anybody ruffled about anything. Filming, the one thing Karen and I have been talking about, is that we are having a bit of a scheduling thing with the Christmas lights, so we're gonna continue to work through how we can figure that out. Right now, our movie is not a Christmas movie. So I know normally the lights go up, the larger ones go up at the end of October for obvious reasons. And they get turned on the 29th of October. So we're just trying to work through all of that. I'll work with the town and see if we can, come up with a solution, which could, whether or not we're just trying to sort out what we're gonna see at night with the lights on. The director and the director of photography are coming out on Thursday night. So if you see a van with about 4 or 5 people standing in the middle of your main street, don't be alarmed, it's only us. So they need to sort of get an idea of what, exactly what they're gonna see with the lights and where they're all coming from. And the other thing is that there will be a point, after the bank robbery, there's a power outage and there's a big snowstorm. So we're obviously don't want a real snowstorm, so we're sorting out how to recreate that, but we will have to sort out about power. And maybe how do we, temporarily knock out power on the main street, or what does that work gonna look like? So I mean, there's a lot of logistics yet to come, and I don't mean to frighten you, but it's gonna be big, like there'll be, I don't know, 120 crew, likely cast and crew, and just bopping around. And a lot of our work might be at night, so but by then, at the end of November, it's gonna be 6 o'clock at night. So we'll work with everybody to make sure businesses that are open after those hours can get in, and just, we'll just keep maintaining that as we go along. So, yeah, and it's kind of fun in some
Yeah.
ways, you know, you're gonna see, you know, all of us and, you know, a lot. And then the other part of but it just worked out perfectly when they saw the town, you know, so they said, yes, that's it. And I'm very happy with all of the location work that I've done over the years. That it was nice to be able to come this far out of the city, because quite often producers, you know, I mean, there's a cost factor with us coming this far, because we're gonna have to put 120 crew up in Brandon.
Yeah.
And look after everybody there for a few days, so that does cause, you know, not a hiccup, but it's something we have to be very mindful of, so. You know, but we're just really happy to come out to a new community and happy to be able to showcase our area, so. And I don't know, is there any questions? Yes.
I'd like the spelling of your last name.
Oh, okay, my first name is actually Cathie.
Uh-huh.
Just to
Thank
be
you.
difficult, and the last name's Edgar, Edgar.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can I ask, oh,
Sure,
that's quick, so is Bob Bodenkirk gonna be in Carberry?
oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
I love that article also.
So, yeah, we've had a couple of 3 movies filmed in Carberry over the years, and I mean, we welcome you to Carberry. It's always kind of a neat deal to have a movie being filmed in town, so.
And
Yes.
this is a bigger one
Yeah.
than the other ones too, so definitely will, you know, hopefully, it hopefully will do well, but I would think if Bob's involved in it, you know, that it will, so. But it's interesting because he's a producer. I don't know if he wrote it, but he's been very involved in the development of it, along with another producer, Mark Provisio from LA. And then there's a local Manitoba service producer called Bonus Productions. Rhonda Baker, Ellen Rutter, and Carrie Wilkins also involved. So there's, you know, there's a lot of people, and then, you know, so.
Well,
Yeah,
if you need
Bob
anything
will
from
be
us,
here.
like, as a town, if you need anything, just
Yeah.
let
Sure.
us know. We'd be more than happy to help, and if everything goes good, remember Carberry?
I'd love to do that because it just has such a great look, like for a
Yeah.
small town. And I hate to say it, but because so much of our movie business is based on doing US stories. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, we do Canadian things as well, but is that, you know, as you know, and I just drove up from Minneapolis today. At the football game, but small town Minnesota and North Dakota, there's just a certain look to them, so.
Yeah.
It just lends itself to it, you know, so it's just perfect, so, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, things that I know stuff has to modernize, but right now your storefronts and everything are wonderful, and I know, you know, there's a lot with all of your historic designations over the years, so, yeah. right.
Good. Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, just one, like, for your cruise and everything that coming, just from my information, like, are you guys gonna try to cater locally? Is that kind of what you do
We
and stuff?
always, you know, cater, the sort of term is we carry our own caterers, because we have, it's very unionized industry.
Right,
So we have to feed people at certain times, and it doesn't matter if we start work at 3 PM, they get a hot breakfast, and we've got to have food available 3 hours after that, and 3, you know. So it's easier just normally for us to have our own caterers.
Okay.
But people will shop locally. We also have craft service, which provides, it's all about food, trust me. You know, so we do try to use as much, but for us to try to do anything too much, I think, with anybody would actually kind of drive me crazy, because we have to feed people at different times, so just the caterers know the deal, so.
Yeah,
But
no.
we're happy to help. I mean, if there's something.
right.
If there's businesses that want to be involved, or could say, I'm happy to take those names and give them.
I just didn't know if you guys are reaching out to the business along Main Street, if you kind of mentioned that to them as well.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
Cause then
yeah.
it's,
And we've been-
or the crews know which places kind of,
Yeah, we thought
are
we
open.
figured that we'd figure out what could be open, and especially, you know, likely when we're shooting, most of it will be at nighttime, but. You know, chances are, you know, Callahan's might be open a little bit later, or if people wanna pop in and grab a coffee, and so we'll get a list of all those hours and make sure the crew.
yeah, so I mean, I guess what I was kind of getting at was like our EDO, would it be helpful if they put together a list of what amenities and stuff are in town for the cruise?
Right, yeah.
And then you can like hand it out to them when
Yeah,
they're,
no, that'd be
in
great, I
town.
appreciate it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
and then the Christmas light stuff, like, I don't see a big deal with
think
putting them
sort
up
of
late,
trying
little
to-
later.
Yeah, like whether or not, and I do understand, so whether or not it's something we assist with, you know, because I know it's a bucket truck and it takes a couple of days, like, you know, there's a lot involved. You know, and the only thing is I'm trying to figure out dates, because I believe the 29th of November, you normally have your flip the switch for Christmas lights.
Yeah, somewhere around there, I'm not sure exactly.
So I don't know if it would be much of a reach to ask if depending on what they do, like if we don't, if that sort of doesn't happen, but I think the big thing is, I think we can manage somehow figuring out the white light. Most usually, for part of the show, it's great to have your white lights that are up there, but it just when, if there's too much sort of Christmassy white lights on storefronts and things like that, that could be a bit. So I'm just trying to work my way through that, but I guess that's something I can do with Kara and then with the Chamber of Commerce and just explain. And I do sort of hate to sort of say to people, well, would you consider like postponing the week or something, but it might come to that just for ease of things.
I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure they'd be more than welcoming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, it just makes it,
Yeah.
and it's always a tough sell, like, I've done shows at Easter time when I'm asking people if they can put Christmas decorations in the front yard. So it's, so that'd be great, cause it would just go, it's one less thing for us to, worry about. So, yeah, as I said, once we get, the fellows, I know my time's just up here, once we, the fellows come out and look at the lights, we'll have a much better idea. I'm also cognizant of the fact that there's people that live on Main Street, and I'm just trying to sort out when we're sort of having cars maybe screaming up and down the road and gunshots. At 3 in the morning. So
Where
I
the
guess
next
that's the
allegation
other
comes
thing
in.
I would need to figure out is like how many residents.
Yeah.
I think there's an apartment block just across and one down the road and, so just trying to sort out, all of those people and how bad, I mean, cause it's noise and, so everybody's noise tolerance is different, so
Yeah.
I'm just, being very straightforward about that, so.
I grew up in Toronto where the movie industry started coming in
Yeah.
and the industry was very nice to whoever they worked around, so. I know that you guys would be nice to our residents as well.
Oh, exactly, yeah, and quite.
And
often-
usually the movie companies left things better than when
Yeah.
they came, so.
Yeah, and if we can, like, for example, if we decide we wish to put an awning on someone's building. Just for what we need, and if they like it, we'd do it so that it's up to code so that it could stay, that type of thing, so. What I'm gonna do is I'll leave you this, but once again, I just, this is right now sort of our idea of renderings for. Everything, and we haven't talked to all the people yet, so they don't know what we're getting there, but I'll leave this one with you. And you can sort of see, what the plans are, so I'll leave that with you. And we've done, we did a lot, I think we did a lot of drone footage, these things are kind of cool.
You don't have any demolition sequences, do you? We could take care of our old bank over here.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
You should ask them about the dynamite there. Maybe do some-
Okay.
You can run a car into it or something.
Debbie,
You can rob that one.
Did you have
Yes,
anything?
it'll get robbed.
Did you have anything?
But I'll leave that and, so we've done, we've been out here a lot, so I really appreciate it. I'll talk to the office further, I guess tomorrow, the next day, and make sure that we have the insurances in place and all that. type of stuff. Now, do I have any reason to talk to the RM besides out of courtesy? I'll let them know, but is there anything I need to?
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so.
It's all in town.
Okay. I will, just so you know, just sort of say, hey, we're here.
Some of our buildings are a joint 50-50 entity.
Okay.
So like the Memorial Hall or the Community Hall,
Okay.
the rink and stuff like that. So
Alright.
if there's setups and stuff that is,
Mhm.
those are 50-50 entities, so. it would-
Okay.
Depending on what you were gonna use, that would be, if
Sure,
you're gonna
okay.
do staging or.
Yeah, that's good to know, because we were looking, obviously, we have what we call lunch cover, because we need to put, make sure there's a place to tables and chairs to start everybody to sit down for at least one of the meals, so. I know that people in my department have been talking to the hall and also to some of the churches, so.
Yeah.
So we try to do all of that type
Yeah,
of stuff.
so those are 50-50
Yeah.
entities, which are half us, half the RM, so.
Yeah.
Johnny, Bill, do you have any questions or comments? or-
I guess we probably should talk to the RM and let them know that. this-
Okay, I'm happy to do
Yeah.
that. Is
Because they
there,
are joint owners.
yeah, is there a particular person I should reach out to, or?
If you want to give me a call tomorrow.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, yeah, I know, I'm happy to do that, not a problem at all.
Okay, I hate to say it, but I think your time's up.
Yeah, well, thank you.
But thank you very much.
Thank you very
for coming
much.
And we look forward to
Yeah.
no, it's gonna be fun. I'm happy that we're coming out.
Seat in there.
Yeah.
I bought the Fiber Truck for that little movie and had a front row seat.
Oh,
Had
there
to
you
climb
go.
up a ladder in the back for the
Yeah,
whole
I think-
weekend.
What?
All 5 apartments up there, glad nobody
Oh.
was over 20.
I know during in Verdon, we actually put up a little grandstand where we're doing some street scenes so people could sit and watch.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we're happy if we can figure stuff like that out. we
Yeah.
will. So anyways, thank you for the
Good.
kind
Thank you.
invitation.
Thank you very much for
Please,
coming.
Everyone knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah.
Randy, and Pure. Okay.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's very nice.
Oh, I forgot to ask for it.
See my little superhero.
Oh,
I was gonna say, 'cause all-
Princesses and unicorns are down
Like
there.
a wily old prospect,
What?
like a wily old prospect.
You could be the bank robber there, Bill.
Oh,
Put
shit.
a little mask on like, what's his name there?
I don't think so.
Cowboy guy.
Billy Minor,
Billy the
No,
Kid.
Zorro.
Mark
Yeah.
Zorro.
my cat gun still working, or?
Ask him.
Oh.
Little sword.
Yeah.
yeah.
Little Z on things and the pigeons. You can say.
Yeah, I don't have any news on that.
You guys.
See if I can squeeze into this.
Oh, man.
Not responsible for any rips.
Hello,
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
yeah, we're good.
Welcome to council. Just letting you know, delegations 15 minutes. We'll do a quick, I think we met before.
Yeah, we met.
Yeah.
No, this is,
I'm Ray Muirhead, Mayor of the town of Carberry.
Like, see that counselor?
Debbie Ray, counselor.
Great to see you and see you.
Christopher NSU counselor.
John Anderson, counselor.
Bill Calmo, counselor.
John McNeely, reporter. Okay, and I'm Popo with you. I'm out at Service Detachment.
Okay, pleased to meet you. Welcome aboard and the floor is yours. Did you have something you want to start or do you want me to?
no, just go ahead with whatever questions you have.
Okay, anyways. We have some stuff going on around town that you're probably aware of. One of the situations is coming up here right away and after this next delegation, if you wanted to stick around, I don't know what your
Yep.
time schedule is.
Brady spoke to us, we'll stick around.
So I've had people in Carberry call me, one of them came to my house not long ago. There's a lot of stuff going on in Carberry and we need to know, we wanna know, how do we deal with it? The Facebook thing, which we'll get into in a bit. Lot of, I don't know what you would call them, sketchy people, untowards people hovering around town, showing up in town. Stop sign issues, speeding issues, just general stuff I'm hearing about. Drugs, the whole bit. And when it comes to sleepy little town Carberry, of course, we're concerned. Okay. So I guess I called you out. Because of that, and also because of what happened in town yesterday on Fourth Avenue, which we can get into in a bit. But from an RCMP standpoint. From the council, what can we do? Because to be perfectly blunt. We have the RCMP come out once every couple of 3 months, whatever it is, gives the report, the whole bit. But what can we do as a community? I know you guys are stretched thin. You know, we're beating a dead horse, so to speak, but what can we do as a community? We sent a letter, Brady authored it, I signed it as mayor to the federal minister for RCMP. It came back basically a pass the buck letter, for lack of a better way of putting it. You know, that's up to your provincial counterpart, so the same letter went to our provincial counterpart. But what do you see as RCMP? What can we do? Like, can we lobby the government to go on recruitment drives or?
Okay, well, let me first off,
Yeah.
I'll start by saying that this isn't a new problem.
No,
You're not the only community that's experiencing this, right? I have the same problems in Surrey, okay,
Yeah.
and it's the same things over and over again. And you know what, in some ways, you almost have to appreciate that these are the major issues, like, you know, stop signs, stuff like that, because really the community is not in bad shape. I know you see a few problems. And then it seems like it's really getting out of control, but this is one of the better communities from what you've seen, and I'm not making excuses or anything like that. You are correct when you say that we are stretched thin. We recently took on Rivers, so we replaced the police force of, they had 4 members there. So they had their detachment, and we've been instructed that that's ours now. Can you imagine how many members they've given us in order to take care of that community? 0. So it's the same amount. It's a larger jurisdiction, and that's the big thing. Okay.
But just to step in quickly. It's the old saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Mhm.
How do we fix that? I mean, do we lobby the government, federal and provincial, to go on recruitment drives, or what do we do?
I was.
Oh, that's already been done.
It's been done already,
Yeah,
but I think you definitely have more power than say when we're talking to the powers to be asking for more bodies.
yeah,
They just tell us no.
yeah,
Right, they don't have to give us a reason to meet or to Clinton, because he's the area commander. But when you guys are logging and putting letters forward, you use that squeaky wheel and gets the grease type thing.
yeah,
So you keep on complaining, you could produce more members. But that resolve problems we're having in town right now,
yeah,
it'll help a bit. Won't necessarily resolve some problems. I always say we live in a great country. Right, we have a lot of freedoms here. Problem is the bad people
yeah.
have just as many freedoms as the good people, if not more at times.
And that's the
Very difficult for
unfortunate
us to
part,
do our
yeah,
job right now.
yeah,
Because we're all aware of this, the suspects that we have in town that are causing problems with the motorcycles.
Yeah.
For us to prove who they are is the difficult part. So what we've been telling people, I talk to them in the streets, pictures, video, send us pictures and video of them, we'll have them, give that to our social media. Because they're always, they have a license plate on motorcycles. They have a helmet on, full face, we can't stand the we suspect who they are. But when he pulls up beside a police car on the highway, traveling back towards Brandon, pulls a catwalk beside a police car at 150 kilometers an hour. I can't say, or the members will say, can't say 100% who that is. And then what leads to another problem is, we're not allowed to pursue under Highway Traffic Act. We're not allowed to pursue motorcycles. Can't spike belt a motorcycle. So their members are really getting frustrated in our detachment, right, because they're not able to really. They feel like they're not able to do the job, because they're not with our policies and our procedures. And these people are catching on to that, they're aware of that. So that's why we leave, they're going us into pursuits they're trying to, like, we'll have, just the other day. When we had the fire in town, that night here in town. We were going back. On the radar, 160 kilometers an hour coming towards us. Lots of person on a blue motorcycle. They actually turned around, caught up to us. And pulled some shenanigans right there, and then took off again at 200 kilometers an hour. We've used, I can't get too much details what we're doing in town right now.
right,
Just because I don't wanna, get what we have, but we are doing things, we have members are. Like active in town,
yeah,
you're not gonna see them, because we're in plain clothes,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but we are working on it. It's just a very time consuming situation. Because no matter how we look at it. It's all HD offenses right now. We can probably go criminal code when we turn our lights on, we take off on us, it's like from police. So we have some criminal code charges that we can get here. But again. Able to prove who these suspects are. We all feel we know who they are.
Yeah.
But to actually prove who they are, like the reasonable doubt is what they're. So there are some difficulties we have with what's going on in those situations. And like I said, I'm assuming these are the same problems with stop signs in town, speeding in town.
Yeah.
So obviously, I guess on top of what the mayor's saying is like, okay, so not just that one thing, but like problems in general, we have been telling the public, write things down, report it, and do that thing. How can we, other than not about your workforce, but again, how can we help you guys then? Like, what could be something in town?
Like, if you can tell
Yeah.
us who it is and say with absolute certainty, now you're willing to provide a statement, you're willing to testify, you're willing to go to court if necessary. We will lay the charge, but you have to understand, like Grant was saying there, this is a Highway Traffic Act offense. And most likely it's gonna be a fine.
What I mean by just not that thing, I just mean in general, like, let's say there's. People are going into people's, that's the new thing, people are going, I'm just making something up, someone's going into cars or something. How can we help?
Well,
Can we put out a public
that's
announcement
that is a
to?
great point. To start educating the people, we do it all the time, and it's the same thing, and there's a couple of files that we have repeats, so, I'll tell you about one that's causing us major headaches. I'll talk about the first one, though. Okay? Lock your vehicles and do not keep your keys under. These aren't sophisticated thieves. These aren't the thieves that we find in Toronto.
Yeah.
That are walking into a person's yard with a laptop, stealing their signal from their key fob. Being able to replicate it and then use that exact thing to start the vehicle. That's not what's occurring here.
Right.
It's people that are just searching vehicles and the keys are in there.
So I guess maybe something like, you know, the provincial government's giving those grants for the cameras and stuff. Provincial grants, there's provincial grants for, you know, the home security systems and stuff. Would that, like, as a public announcement out here would help?
Put announcements like that all the time.
Would that, I mean, what I mean is that, would that stuff help you guys if there was an incident or whatever?
Well. And there's video footage of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, I'm trying to figure out ways to go outside the
Like
box
when we
until.
get breaking into a business. Person always asks me, do you have a video? No. Oh, yeah, video, we usually get the suspects, right? So educating businesses in town or communities in town, we want to be, not too many people who own homes are gonna put a video camera in their home. But lots do nowadays, right? Google, Chromecast and all that kind of stuff, it all has video and log that. So like, that's the things that we look for. And when we tell people all the time is like, you have to, it's not 1945.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't leave your house unlocked, you can't leave your car unlocked. People always go around. So it's educating the community about, you know, keeping your house locked, keeping your cars locked. Because if people are walking around, they go through 15 cars every single night, they're gonna keep on going through the 15 cars every single night. But if now they find cars locked all the time, they're just gonna go on the, I mean, they won't be doing it, they'll be doing something else, I guess, but that'll eliminate that.
Now, I guess one last one just on top of, like, so it's talking about pub ed, right? So does the RCMP themselves, like not Blue Hills, but the RCMP themselves have like a pub ed division? That has like pamphlets or anything that we can put up or put out that can educate people on how to report something or?
Yeah, that's steady being put out on all the sites. Like another big one that I was gonna get to and talk about is scams that are occurring. Where people are allowing people to allowing them access to their banking information because it's something that they're told on the phone. How many times have we put it out there? Do not give anyone access to your banking information. Do not provide social security numbers. Don't provide any of this. Now, we're getting a lot of these complaints and it's usually elderly people that are getting targeted. But I had one recently, $10,000 was transferred to the person's account. The only reason they were able to do $10,000 and not the $2,000 limit was the person actually provided his passport photo. So it was a secondary verification that was required in order to get that $10,000. Now, yeah, it sounds simple enough, like an e-transfer, it goes into a Canadian bank. But the amount of time that's required in order to get that judicial authorization, in order to get those banking records, and it's following those breadcrumbs, it's not an easy process. It takes so many man hours. And when you're looking at 10 or more files, you can imagine how much time.
That's your full-time job now, pretty much. Like with that, you mean?
Well, it's so simple to say, just educate people, but people are still falling for these scams, and it's not like people that are not intelligent or anything like that, because last year, or actually, sorry, 2 years ago, the amount was over $500 million taken from Canadians in these types of scams, and it's usually just convincing people to allow them access to their financial information, or just scamming them and again convincing them to give them their money. But it's over $500 million, so it's not a small amount.
So what can we, as a community, do? I know we've been through this before, we talk about the COPP program, I guess there's a community safety officer. Like, what can we do? What do other communities do that maybe we can do? Do you know anything? Like, can we monitor? I don't wanna get into putting cameras up at every stop sign, but what's your suggestion?
Well, if we see it, we're gonna charge them. Like, if we see someone running a stop sign, we're gonna charge them.
Good.
If we see them riding around like animals, we're gonna charge them. It's simple as that. But if anyone else sees it, get video. If you know the person, provide a statement. We'll charge them on that.
Okay. You have anything, Debbie?
I don't think so.
Bill? So that was basically why we wanted you here, just to discuss that. People of the town are concerned. They're not used to, I mean, if you say our town is better than some other towns, that still doesn't make it right.
No,
So, I mean, we have to address this, there's no doubt about it, again, two wrongs don't make a right kind of thing, but still, we have to address it, so. Every time you come out, we're gonna be addressing.
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah.
It's just what, if there's any new initiatives come out,
I can check with headquarters, see if they have anything out there where they can maybe have maybe an officer can come out and do like just like an open house type thing, right? Next time you have a career days or whatever like that goes on.
No, and you guys are really good too, like the homecoming, you guys always have an officer here with a
Yeah.
cruiser when you can,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we know that you guys are out, and when we do have.
Yeah,
major
where's
problems,
I've had a
you
lot
guys
of
do come
town.
out, yeah, when we do have the major, no people stopping us, stop signs in school, when school starts, you guys do come out, so we do.
Maybe for those
appreciate it.
events there, if you're talking to people who are organizing them, get them to give us a few weeks notice.
Yep,
Oh,
'Cause I run our schedule for the attachment area and that's for all three areas. So I always try to make some, make some available. But when we're getting a call on Friday for Saturday, it's very difficult to like. So usually I don't like having just one of the two members that are working on shift come down, because then the call concern to get called away right away.
right,
So I always try to bring a person on overtime or ship the person down and he's just, like the last time he did homecoming. He was assigning to here for the day and he wasn't going,
it was great, yeah.
so I didn't have to worry about him getting called away, but. Even that day there, we only had I think a day's notice or something, a couple days notice. So just let your people that are supporting these things, give us more notice and more leeway so I can actually make the efforts to get some help to these events.
so. I had a train of thought and I just lost it. We're about that.
Folks getting old.
Does. I don't know, does anybody else have any questions or? Yeah. Is it okay if you stick around for a bit? Just, we've got some stuff going on here, so. If nobody has any other questions, I guess right down to zero, that'll conclude this delegation.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And the work you do, yeah.
If I remember what I was gonna say, I'll.
Yeah.
now, before we continue, we should also mention, I'm not sure, I'm not gonna make an assumption what's gonna be discussed. But if we have an ongoing investigation, we're not gonna be releasing any details.
No, I agree.
We can't, because under the Privacy Act.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
cannot
Yeah.
mention any names or anything like that.
Yeah.
So.
So I want to address that before the next delegation steps up. So we have our next delegation, who is Albert Clark. Welcome, Albert. Do you want to pull up to the table or?
Here.
You need to tell us.
So, by the way, everyone, this is being recorded for our YouTube channel. Just to let everybody know before we continue with this next delegation, everybody in here that hasn't registered to be a delegate, you're just here to observe. You can't say anything, you can't offer comments because you didn't register the delegation. So don't blurt stuff out, say anything inappropriate, just sit and listen. Albert, you've registered as a delegation. You got 15 minutes to talk. I'm not gonna put up with re-debating the whole Facebook thing. It's not gonna happen. I'll shut it down. So you got 15 minutes and the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks for having me, I appreciate it, I guess, I mean, my concern as a citizen is, and this started back in June, is when I noticed the problems first started happening, we had provincials here, we had hundreds and hundreds of kids running around, and the one biker comes in, doing a catwalk or a wheelie at like 80+ kilometers on 3rd Avenue. Just no regard for safety, no regard for, he blew the stop sign at the tracks and just kept going. He's up and down the highway, he comes in every weekend or every couple of days or whatever it is. It's, it's been noted that he's been in town, and of course, and I understand where you guys are coming from. No face, you can't ID him, the bikes never have plates on it. I've been behind the person several times, never put a plate on it, so. There's not much you could do, I know you can't chase the guy. I guess our concern is we have, like, they confronted them before and stopped them, I think it was at the Summer Shack, and they skedaddled out of town, but they had clear pictures of faces, they had names, and then we were told, well, we didn't catch them in the act, we can't do anything. So that's our concern, and so we're just wanting to know. Like, I know you guys say report it, well, I did, I called in a couple weeks ago, I was told, well, there'll be an officer gonna contact you, make a statement. 2 weeks went by, never got a phone call, never got contacted, no statement was taken.
All right, I can look into that.
So I mean, it just feels like we're not being listened to at that point.
Yeah, I'd agree. 100%.
And it's disappointing, and I guess from my point of the town is, I don't know how long you guys knew about it, or if. And obviously, this is the first meeting I've been to, so I don't know if you guys have discussed the issue in prior meetings or not, but it feels like. The town knew about it, or they, like the rumblings in the
Just
town.
to address that before we get moving on, I am going to address that after your delegation is done.
Okay.
Do you wanna stick around? So.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll cover all that.
So it just felt like, I mean, to us, to some of us outside of the inner doings of the town, it felt like nothing was being done. So now, like I said, things got way out of hand, obviously, you know, things were said that shouldn't be said. I do want to apologize to several members, including the group to my right. Like, things were said that shouldn't have been said, and I've had time to reflect today and kind of go over and just kind of decharge. Cause when stuff happens, you get charged up, you get amped up, and then what happened. So, you know, and it's unacceptable and it's gotta stop, but I guess our point is we just want something done, like we know the majority of who they are, and it just feels like they just are laughing in our face every time they come to town, just pinning it downtown, just pinning it on 4th Avenue through the school zone. Like, I'm sure the cameras at East End have caught them numerous times. But again, no face, can't see who it is, you don't know who's on the bike, can't make out a plate, there's no plate. So they're laughing because they know they're gonna get away.
Can I interject?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the investigation's not done. We have a lot of video evidence from our vehicles. We have good evidence where we can say with certainty what bike it is.
Mhm.
All we're waiting for is to identify that biker. Okay, or bikers. We're working on it, so don't think that nothing's getting done. It's just nothing you see right now is getting done, okay?
Yeah.
But really, we're looking at highway traffic offenses, and I'm gonna address, I'm not sure. Not assuming any of you guys are the ones that are doing this, but our concern too is we don't want anyone to get hurt, including the people on the bikes.
Mhm.
You get it, right? A lot of these are just highway traffic offenses. But those speeds and stuff like that, someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
We don't want that. This morning, Grant and I were at a fatality on Highway 21. You know, and it's a terrible experience. We
Yeah.
deal with it all the time. We don't wanna have to go to anyone's family like we did today and have to say that their son has died in a vehicle accident. It's not something we wanna do, right? So it's not just, we understand the community's concerns, but we're also concerned for the people that are doing this too, right? We don't want anyone to be injured.
No,
That's why there's rules for this. And if we, like I said, we're working on it, we have great evidence. And when it's pieced together, you don't know how it's gonna end up, right?
And I understand that, like I said, things were said, people got amped up, the town people just got tired of it. Like you said, 2 wrongs don't make a right, you know, what happened after I looked at everything and just had time to kind of sit back and gather my own thoughts, I realized. Wow, that was so wrong, like that should have never happened, and that could have been avoided on so many levels.
Well, I mean, thank you for saying that.
So, and like I said, I owe them and others an apology, and that'll be addressed, but it's just. We just want it taken care of, like, I understand kids are young, they wanna have fun on the bikes, fine, that's fine. But have some respect for the town people.
But you can understand the difference, right? One's a highway traffic offense, well, you know, you're stunt driving, whatever, that's HTA.
Mhm.
Someone trying to take matters into their own hand, that's criminal code.
No, and I understand that, yeah.
I'm not implying that you don't, I'm just saying, the person who did one is much more extreme, and they're gonna have to answer
Yes,
that.
for sure,
And it's not gonna be as gentle as a minor fine.
No, and-
The merits on your license.
And like I said,
So I
I
would not
totally,
recommend anyone do anything like that.
I totally understand that, and like I said, the things, they're gonna, that's gonna go the way it's gonna go, and that person's gonna have to own up to it. And I think from one standpoint, we just, like I said, kids are young, they wanna have fun, we understand that. But at the same time, pinning it downtown, just revving it up, taunting us as they're driving by, that's unacceptable. It's like they're just laughing in our faces and because they know nothing can, they feel nothing can be done. I should say, not that they know nothing can be done, but they feel like nothing will be done to them, they can't be touched.
Does anybody, you got anything, Mike?
Yeah, for myself, like you're gonna cover the social media stuff, but we like, I personally brought up the speeding in town with cars. Most of them the same type of cars, Audis, right? I brought that up a while ago. We have brought up the motorcycles. But I also, as a first responder in town, when I got a call the other night of a motorcycle, as I was sitting in my backyard here and I'm ripping around town, I got a call to get my car for crash. Okay, there's certain calls where my foot shakes and then my stomach turns, and that was one of them. Cause the last thing I wanna be doing is looking at a dead body on the highway and going home to my kids that night with it. Next to the fact I have two young kids in town that ride their bikes. I have a 2-year-old that likes to ride her bike on the street, and the last thing I'd want for her to do is get hit by a car or by a motorcycle, having some fun. So that's my family, that's my life, and that's my mental state. I don't wanna deal with any of that if we don't have to. So again, I'll just say it out loud, be respectful. Coming to town, you're gonna ride your motorcycles, ride them appropriately. I got a Harley myself and I ride it and it's loud and whatever, but I ride it respectfully. Right? So just keep it that way. There's more than just one person on a motorcycle, one person in a car or truck driving down the highway. There's more people that deal with something if something happens and they go home with that every night. So.
Yeah, thanks. You got anything, Debbie?
No, I was in the same state, just, I'm a nurse by trade and, yeah, I've seen what ends up, especially a motorcycle on a highway. You don't have any skin left by the time it's all over,
Yeah.
said and done, so. Kudos for RCMP having to go and to talk to families and after accidents, and hopefully all of our young people just stay healthy.
Yeah, or Debbie, Johnny, you got anything?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Mhm.
Paramedic for 35 years, a little bit of PSTD and sometimes, brain don't work right. Well, all I want to say is. Everybody on these groups, gotta take a breath. Like Kamala Harris says, there's more that connects us than separates us. Let's not be asking for vigilante justice or any shit like that. We all gotta get along. So, and how it resolved last night is just not correct, and I hope that never happens again. So, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Bill. You got anything?
We were outside yesterday afternoon, there was a lot of rip roaring going on. You could hear this motorcycle out on the highway just up to the stop sign north of our place and then just backfiring, popping, stopping, then ripping off again. This goes on all the time. And it's getting frankly tiresome. And somebody's gonna get hurt. That's gotta stop. That's all I got.
I got some stuff, but I'll probably bring this up next after the delegation. Is that all you had?
That's all I had. Thank you
Okay.
guys for listening.
Thank you. All right, so that's it for delegations. We're gonna move 9D, general business up, so we can talk about this, right, Grady?
Yeah.
Okay. So. One of the reasons I called the RCMP out tonight is to deal with this Facebook crap. I swear to God, Facebook is gonna be the downfall of mankind. It is absolutely ridiculous. So the reason we put a notice on Facebook today, something has to be done. Normally, the town does not comment on Facebook posts. For lack of a better way of putting it, we don't lower ourselves to that level. Because Facebook and what's been going on last week, last month, this summer is absolutely ridiculous. And it culminated yesterday. For those that you don't know, there was a car that hit a motorcycle. We've seen the video 1/2 second sooner, then that person wouldn't be, I wouldn't think would be here today. It was evident on the video, and I don't want to get into it, and I'm not naming names, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna get into it. All I want to do is talk about why the town put that letter on our social media page today. We're sick of it. We're absolutely sick and tired of this. The administrator, who shall remain nameless, everyone knows who they are, they need to be taken to task over this. I don't know if they can be held to account. As far as I'm concerned, they and some, if not most of the contributors to that discussion were just as guilty as the person driving that car. That's my personal opinion, and that's up to, that's what I'll say. It's gotta stop. And it doesn't necessarily singularly deal with the motorcycles. This Facebook stuff has been going on all bloody summer. And it affects schools. It's addressed personal stuff that's of a private matter that gets on Facebook. About a week and a half ago, a minor was named. That shouldn't be allowed. Under the Young Offenders Act, you can't name a minor, and the
They're
RCMP.
charged, you can't name them. There's nothing in that.
But this is ridiculous. You know,
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's not ridiculous, but that's what it is. It's ridiculous. It's not criminal. It's not something, it's not, the police are gonna action. We're not gonna become the Facebook, police. We don't have the
No.
manpower to start managing freedom of speech and determine whether or not it's out of that. Like, a person has the right to their opinion and share it. We also have the right to ignore it and not read it. And that's what I would suggest. If
the reason we brought it up and I wrote the letter is because it's dividing the community. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The BS that's on there, the names that are being put on there, the location of their addresses where they live. Vigilantism, let's get together and go to a church, that sort of stuff. It can't happen. We can't do that. And it's evident yesterday,
and
something's
if
gonna
it
be done.
occurs, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But we can't police hypotheticals.
Okay,
Let's name a name, but I'm anonymous.
yeah, and the anonymous, that's just,
Crap.
so I wanted to bring up the
Something to say, put
Facebook
your
thing.
name.
A lot of people are brave on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the keyboard there, so.
And it seems to be the same dozen or so people. It doesn't speak for the whole community of Carberry.
Yeah.
The last census, we were 1,818 people, and we are far past that. The majority, vast majority of the people of Carberry are past that. People that are on Facebook that are posting this stupid crap need to cease and desist and smarten up. It's dividing the community. I mean, there's threats being put on the whole bit. I wanted to ask you, and I think you just answered my question. I guess if we can't do anything, we can't, but it has to be, how do they get away with this? How do you start a Facebook post?
That's a person, the freedom of speech, right? You can have an opinion.
Yeah.
It can't, there's lines it could cross, but it's more attacking what was
Religion,
religions, stuff like that, and
Well, there was a bit of race involved with it. There was some prejudice.
yeah, I know, but we're not talking about the same thing, like,
Um,
really, if
Even
social
re-
media is just a platform where these, Brad was saying, these keyboard warriors, they
Yeah.
feel safe to say stuff. We get it all the time, and that's why, quite honestly, a lot of us aren't on social media because.
What we do as a community
Just get-
is the last 2 years, there's some of us around this table and other, we've been working vigilantly to get our healthcare system back to where we need to be.
Mhm.
We're dealing with the accident that happened out on the highway and stuff like that. We're trying to promote our town. Our economic development officer is trying to attract people to Carberry. We've got Carberry on bus benches in Brandon. We've got people out there right now that don't want to come to Carberry because of this crap. We've got people in Carberry that want to move because of this crap. There's stuff that's been said about the schools, private stuff, underage kids being named. Last time I checked, and I don't go on it at all, I don't post much on Facebook, just before and after renovations, and that is it. But it's just ridiculous, and something, and I know what is beyond you, but something has to be done. We feel as a community, we needed to write this letter today to address it. The administrators, they need to smarten up. honest to God, and they
Is the
know.
administrator like an employee of the town or anything? or
No,
is
the
it a private-
administrators at the Facebook
The
page,
website.
Yeah.
they
So
allow
private-
this to
it's a
happen,
Private.
yeah. It's
section.
supposed to be a Facebook page that's supposed to be announcements for local activities, that sort of stuff.
Oh, that doesn't last.
And it's just come on to, most people call it the bitch and snitch. And it's just, you know, that's what it is. It's just tabloid journalism at its worst.
But people have a right to that, right? You know, we.
It's unfortunate, I
Have
understand.
you thought about closing the site down?
I go out that person, so.
I was about to mention, like, I know that,
Just shut the site down.
and, well, I know
Yeah,
you
well,
can
that's-
report it
Yeah,
to Facebook, and if they go on and.
There's another issue that I'm dealing with. Down the road with the guards, the same situation. Had to call some people back tomorrow. And I've known there have been some calls into Facebook, their policing system, and they're not doing nothing about it, they refused to shut down the site. So the town actually doesn't control the site then.
no,
Okay,
no, it's a Facebook thing, and unfortunate,
Facebook.
there's a lot of Facebook warriors that hide behind
what I can do
anonymity.
this week is, I'll try to contact Facebook, I don't know anything about Facebook, I'm on social media.
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time just Googling something.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is, I'll go with my younger members to show me how. And I'll send a letter to the, Facebook there. and
That would be
see-
appreciated,
Thank you.
Mhm.
If we have to shut down, then it's gonna eliminate a lot of problems, right?
yeah.
Still someone, but
Just
again,
don't make any promises. that
Yeah,
you
no.
can't,
Oh, yeah.
It's very hard to
so
shut
you
things
have
down,
to prove
especially,
that
it's an American company.
Right, and just for myself anyways, like I'm a veteran,
Yeah.
right, and I fought in Afghanistan for freedom and everything. So we don't wanna stop people from voicing their opinions and everything, but we don't need, threats being made to other members of the community. People's homes being put up so that they can be somehow retaliated
But that's
against.
public information that can be released.
I understand,
Yeah, yeah,
but
we-
negligently on
Yeah, you
a
understand
page.
person can videotape you, right?
Yes, yes,
Video recording,
yes.
they can, your place and everything like that, they can't go up to your window and start peeking in, but they're protected. Okay, these are, the freedoms that everyone fought for, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't exactly jive with what we want, and then, then we find it offensive. But honestly, it's protected, right? We,
I get it. Unfortunately, there are the ones that don't seem to channel it that way, but it's a moral
Yeah,
thing.
there's
There's common
certain-
sense. There is some
certain
common
things,
bloody sense, yeah. And the only other thing,
They usually know their limits too, right? They know what they're gonna get away with. They're not crossing that line. They're successful at it because they don't cross that line and they're protected.
the
But,
usual
As far as
suspects,
naming youths and stuff like that, I get what you're saying, but the Youth Criminal Justice Act protects youth from being named in criminal proceedings. That's what it's based on. Not this, not being named in social media and stuff like that.
yeah, well, in my opinion, that needs to change, but
So
I'm
if
just one
somebody
guy.
names somebody, and they get their house burnt down, they get run over, they get shot,
Oh, that's.
that's
criminal.
different, right?
Then we'll
That's
investigate.
criminal.
If someone's house is burnt down, of course we're gonna investigate,
Okay.
but can you see how we're taking everything
Well, I
as
know
an
you
assumption
can't
that
do
this is
everything, but
possible?
still,
Well, we
it-
can't
it's hardly a
police what
difference. I know it's legally different, but it's hardly a difference. You put that name up hoping something happens.
And we can only
And
assume.
exactly, you can't do much, but
But after what happened yesterday, it's come to a head, and we as a town feel that we need to step
But
in.
that's gonna be dealt
We-
with.
Yeah, that's gonna be dealt with,
Yeah, we
that's not something that's just going away.
We can't have that. So anyways, the only thing I wanted to say, there has been hate, there has been racism, there has been violence promoted, discrimination, and it's directed at the German community. And I just wanted to say, as the mayor and council, to the German community, this is not representative of the vast majority of Carberry. We embrace the German community. They have contributed to our town immensely. Housing, kids in school, helping out in the community. So please, don't take this from a dozen or so people, the vast majority. But that doesn't preclude the fact that this thing happened in the first place. It's gotta stop. Summer is short. Summer is from here to there. And when you wanna walk your dog, take your kids to the playground, sit outside on your deck, you don't need to be listening to this crap. And that's the very reason that this all happened in the first place. And when you know it's the very reason and you monitor the Facebook, stop doing what you're doing to give rise to this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not just the fact that somebody's gonna get hurt seriously or killed, use some common bloody sense and stop. That's all I gotta say. I mean, that's why we brought it up today again. We normally don't address Facebook because we don't wanna lower ourselves to the level of some of these people on Facebook, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. The whole community's in an uproar, and we gotta get our community back. So that's where I'm at. Has anybody else got anything to add
We
or?
gotta park the anger.
Yeah,
We don't have to agree. But we can't hate each other because we don't agree. We gotta park the anger, gotta talk it out, you gotta come up with a solution.
yeah.
Cause as I said, what happened last night is not the answer, it never will be.
All right. Somebody else, but you got anything, Debbie?
No,
Bill? Brady? Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thanks to the delegation, thanks to the observers, and we'll be in touch.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody is welcome to stay. It's public meetings, so if you want to stick around, you're able to, if you're, it's totally up to you guys. All right. Okay, thanks.
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
All right, that's that. Nothing more said about that. Let's move on to finance and accounts. We have the ACAO report.
Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Leave the chairs, we'll get them after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Thanks for coming out.
Yes.
thanks.
We're still recording, you didn't check.
Nope, we're still live.
Yeah. ACAO report, of resolution number 217-24. Excuse me, be it resolved that council accept the report from ACAO McConnell as presented, moved by Mike, seconded by
Debbie.
Debbie. Any questions? We've read that. We've seen the way she's done her finances changed a bit and. Okay, no
No
questions?
question.
All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. With what I said there, did that, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have resolution number 218-24. Be it resolved that the financial statement for August 2024 be accepted by council, moved by
Sure.
John, seconded by.
Mike.
That's my chair.
Any questions about the financial statement? We went through, had a chance to look at it. Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have resolution number 219-24. Be it resolved that the accounts check number 1533 to check number 15425. Totaling $249,934.94 and direct withdrawals of $173,307.21 be approved for payment as recommended by the finance committee. Moved by Mike. Bill, you signed the checks today, no anomalies?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have some bylaws. We have a traffic bylaw update. Everybody get a chance to read that?
I had updated it for the last meeting and then in doing some research, we can actually include the engine brake part of it in there, and I need to do a little bit more research into. I got a little bit more information today on how it needs to be signed and how the bylaw needs to read that from. Particularly for that stretch of Wildwood Road that's out of our zonal control, so it will have to be some cooperation with Minister of Transportation on that one. So I just wanted to give you guys that update, and then for the October meeting, it'll be, it should be ready to go to give it third reading.
Sounds good. Thanks, Grady.
Basically,
good.
what the government said was that around town is a municipal.
That's right, and this is only for our portion because we talked about at the last meeting about
Yeah.
doing it in town. So
Okay.
we can look after our stuff. But I just wanna make sure, rather than have multiple bylaws, if we can put it all into the same one, I wanna just make sure it's done properly.
Less confusing, really.
Yeah, yeah, and then
absolutely.
everything traffic related is in the same bylaw.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Question, Wellwood Road and Main Street for that matter, that are provincial roads. First, are they in any way exempt?
Main Street and First Avenue from the CN tracks to Elgin Street are our zone of control. Outside of that on 351 and Wellwood Road are outside of our zone of control, so there has to be coordination with highways there.
Okay.
We can make changes on our zone of control, but not outside of that. Same reason for the speed zone on the west end of town, that we can't just make that change because it's not our jurisdiction.
And it doesn't actually correspond to town limits.
Correct. It's town limits from 1965 or whatever that is.
Long time ago.
We'll move to garbage special service bylaw. I think we read that. That's just the rates.
Yeah.
And
And then there was that big spreadsheet with all the different fees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's something that we'll have to discuss, but we just wanted to get it on the table for you guys' consideration, as to what their increases might look like, and, we'll have a further discussion on that, as well, but I just wanted to get it out there that we are looking into it. It's, done this year, so we'll have to have it ready for next year for our, tax levy file.
we'll move on to unfinished business. We have the Old Town Shop property.
It's not good.
Yeah, gone.
Properties there, the shop is gone.
Yeah. So upon further consideration, that seems like probably our best way forward for this year is to construct some temporary facilities on that again and keep it heated over the two water areas. I did have a bit of an idea that we'll talk about at another time that I think might be something that we could look at incorporating, but I'm still just doing some research on that, so it just kind of came up the other day in some conversation, so. But the building won't get moved this year, so I think we'll set up some temporary hoardings again and just have it so it's usable for the winter.
Anybody have any questions on that? or-
We'll just wait for something, like we'll get it done right one time, you know?
Yeah,
All right, engine retarder brakes on bypass. I think we just covered that.
Yep. No, we have a letter back from
Right.
the minister. And I won't go into all of the details, but. So this one's for the speed limit, so we're gonna.
It was on here, right? I think I read it. and
Yeah,
I
so
read
here
it,
it is here.
Just trying to find it again. Under response, maybe? Yeah, there it is.
The response is for the intersection. And then the other one is for the speed, or the speed, which talks about needing a formal request from the RN for the speed limit reduction out there. I don't see the engine retarder brake, but it just talks about, again, needing to be a bylaw from the municipality because it's in their jurisdiction.
So it is under the, that response,
It's on the same one.
yeah, the bottom paragraph.
Okay.
Regarding your concern with the engine retarder brake restrictions, please note that in Manitoba, local municipalities are responsible for establishing bylaws to prohibit the use of engine retarder brakes within their jurisdiction. This is department staff will send the offices additional information on what the bylaw must include.
Yeah, and I
Signage
just
and-
received that today, so I didn't have a chance to go any further. with
I
it.
thought I saw something on there about that, so.
so basically it's NCL that's gonna create the bylaw.
I don't know, Billy mentioned in a message today that you think we should send a formal letter again requesting that. Is that something that council wishes for us to do?
Yeah,
Yes,
I would say so.
definitely.
Get it on the table and it hasn't been really addressed, so.
Yeah.
I
Everybody
mean,
else
if
good with
we,
that?
if we really want to, we can show up as a delegation.
Yeah.
As a
Well,
council.
this will come up at the meeting as well, but we should send the formal letter.
Yeah,
before that.
before it.
We'll beat around the bush, let's get on it.
Okay, we'll move to C 1 and 5 intersection.
So this is something that you guys wanted to have a standing agenda item for, just while we're going through the process and the consultants are going through the process. We did get a response to the joint letter that was, We sent a letter, formally indicating that, we wanted to see a grade separated interchange or an overpass, at the intersection. So we did get a reply. Thank you for your August 15th letter to Landmark Planning and Design regarding the functional design study of PTH 1 and PTH 5 intersection improvements. Your correspondence was forwarded to MTI and we are pleased to respond. MTI values hearing input from the town of Carberry and appreciates the opportunity to continue to work together on this important project. The functional design study will consider all intersection options, including a grade separated interchange option, and then determine which option, is preferred based on all the factors valued by all stakeholders and MTI. We have noted the town's preference for grade separated interchange based on the 5 safety factors noted in your correspondence, and will consider this carefully during the evaluation process. Should you have any further questions or wish to discuss the project prior to our next plan meetings, please feel free to contact information for landmark planning. And in the meantime, the study team is committed to ongoing communication with the town of Carberry, and it's signed Denise Judenville, Technical Services Engineer with MTI.
I just wanna say one thing, like, just since it's on this, and there. No, it's not on 1 and 5, but it is on the rest of the highway. I did notice MTI is putting in longer merge and turn lanes, which is making it safer for people to turn onto the highway. Throughout, really our RM jurisdiction park.
Well, what they're doing at the roadside park, there is off ramp both ways, east and west.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, they're extending them. So when I go to turn on 351, I don't have like 100 meters to turn and slow down. They're extending the, yeah.
Well, that's, you said merge lane, merge you,
Well, then when you turn left, they're putting in merge.
Acceleration lane as well.
Mhm.
are they putting them
I
in?
think so, yeah.
I
There's a,
didn't think there was.
I was driving by, that's what it looked like to me, and I drive the highway every morning.
There's one. No, there's one to turn off into 351,
Yeah,
and there's one to, when you're going east to
I
turn.
seen them
into
digging today on the way
351.
home, so.
They're not
He's
merged,
out there.
they're
Three
off
different
ramps,
things. Can't hear you talking.
they're off ramps.
It's for this reason, no, it's for this reason, no, it's for this reason. We'll find out eventually, I guess.
When it's done.
Mhm.
Okay, move to outside user insurance coverage of facilities.
again, this one was left, from the last, meeting and also after the joint meeting. Working on scheduling a virtual meeting with myself, Teresa Parker and, Callie Sudak with our insurance provider to discuss how this might look for different, types of events and things like that, and what we should be requiring outside liability for, and what we really don't need it for, and what's covered. If it's our programming or not our programming, there's a lot of variables in place, so we've got a scheduling meeting probably for next week, it looks like. To discuss those options, so more to come, not at the joint meeting, but for our October meetings.
It's gotta be user friendly, whoever uses it, it's gotta be easy to get.
It is super easy to get.
Okay.
Takes like 5 minutes.
Oh,
It's online.
that's good.
But who's it, my worry is, who are we gonna require it from?
Yeah.
And establishing that criteria.
Okay, we have general business, policing levels. Just I'm gonna read all of
Should have
it.
recorded this and then played it, easy.
Yeah,
What's that?
Record it first and then play it.
we have resolution number 2/2024. Whereas the Blue Hills area has experienced significant population growth and economic activity in recent years, leading to an increase in crime rates and public safety concerns. And whereas the current Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or CMP detachment in the Blue Hills area, despite their commendable efforts, is increasingly stretched thin and struggling to meet the demands of the expanding community. And whereas there has been a notable rise in property crimes, traffic violations, and domestic disturbances in the area, exacerbated by the rural nature of the community, which presents unique challenges for law enforcement due to the vast geographic area that must be covered. And whereas the expansion of the Blue Hills detachment coverage to include an additional municipality will now strain our CMP resources, increasing the coverage area to over 2,200 square miles and adding over 3,000 residents to their responsibilities, thereby impeding response times and limiting proactive policing efforts. Therefore, be it resolved that the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, the AMM, strongly urge the province and the RCMP to increase the number of RCMP officers assigned to the Blue Hills area to ensure adequate law enforcement coverage and enhance public safety. And further be it resolved that the AMM calls upon the provincial government to provide the necessary resources and support to the RCMP to facilitate this increase in personnel, thereby ensuring that the growing population and geographic challenges of the Blue Hills area are effectively addressed. Moved by.
Bill.
Seconded by.
Like,
Any discussion? Pretty straightforward. We just talked about it with the RCMP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this resolution has been shared with all of the municipalities in the district, and we're all working at passing it to push to the AMM for either convention or their direct lobbying for this case.
All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Excuse me on my phone, I have to use this for the next one, drop-in center update.
you want a bigger on here? Yeah, right, I think right here.
Yeah, that's a different thing, but
Oh, okay, sorry about that. I thought there was something on here.
there is, but it's different.
Okay. We have to zoom in so closely like this.
So I attended our first drop-in center meeting last week as the new member of the drop-in center board. There were some questions that were asked. I informed the drop-in board. I'm not there on behalf of the town to take over their drop-in. They're still the board. They do their thing. I just sit there. If you need something from the town, let us know. It was brought up about the youth using it. Met with a little bit of discussion. I think there's a good chance that they're looking at it positively. We'll see. They're gonna discuss it amongst themselves. And it was just talked about the town and the RM's role in all this. It was mentioned at the RM, to the RM at the building committee meeting about representation. There was nobody there from the RM. So I just said, we own the building. We look after the big stuff like the air conditioners, furnace, that sort of thing. And there was some stuff, just give me a second here. Building clarify, currently the town and the RM jointly own the building and are responsible for all major repairs and upgrades to the building. We are responsible for utilities and caretaking. Ray reminded us we could possibly be eligible for a town grant if needed as well, the same as what we give to other ones. But I reiterated to them that if you've got money to spend, spend it. We're not gonna give grants just for savings for them. So they understood and they're good with it. Ray said the town would not force us into any agreements with regard to kids and drop-in proposal. I don't want to get into, for lack of a better way, putting it, the piss and match with the seniors. They've had it for years. If they're not comfortable with the kids, but I'm not saying they're not, but it's gonna take a little bit of, so we'll see how that goes. Motion decrease, they're decreasing their membership fees, which is really not an us thing. Ray will look into garbage recycling bins from the town. They're wondering about garbage and recycling out the back. Is there a bin that can go there, or do they use the one down at the hall after a function? For instance, I'll use Bill's anniversary, or there was a wedding held in there, that sort of stuff. And I didn't know what to tell them. Is that something that
There just isn't really a spot for them back there that isn't gonna be in the way and isn't gonna get abused. I would say like. I don't wanna say how we might handle that, but I'll look into it.
Okay, Grady will look into it. Purchasing. They are currently able to use the town printer. Purchasing our own may be an option in the future as our needs increase. And again, I told them, if you got 11,000 in the bank plus 3,000 in another account, go buy a printer. nothing stopping you. I think they've got that, oh, we can't spend any money type syndrome, and I said, spend the money. I mean, if you gotta bring the place up to standards, do it, spend the money. Rates, they talked about rates, was not us thing. Debbie said, short discussion, Ray encouraged us to complete a terms of reference. There was a lot of discussion as to how the rental works, how this works, how that works. I encouraged him to come up with terms of reference like we've been doing with other subboards. And then they and future boards and us know how things work. So they're gonna work on that. And I think that was about it. So that was my inaugural meeting with the drop-in. And if they need anything, basically told them, I mean, we're there for them. We're not gonna let them. So they talked about painting and they want to put a roll-up door to separate the kitchen from the big room, and I said, we'll do it. What are you waiting on? So I kind of got that point across. So I think it was a good meeting. Everybody was good. So that's it on the drop-in center update. Pigeon painting. Is that a me thing too? I was approached by a person in town. We had a lengthy discussion about the pigeon painting. We all know around here, it started out as a novelty. It was done on old derelict bank. But once it started being put on private property and breaking into public property, such as the support column in the pool where they physically had to go through water to get to it. There's one on the back of this building.
There's one on the Carberry sign coming into town.
Yeah, credit union's got one on the stucco. They put one on the top of the water tower. It's getting out of hand.
And the biggest number I've heard is over 60.
Oh,
Now where did you say there was one, Mike?
You know, the welcome to Carberry sign?
Yeah.
There's some on the back of that as well too.
And there was one that's painted on one of the roll-up doors in the concession that we spent a pile of money on. Now, what if we don't want one there? If you go, the roll-up door is like a sectional garage door. It's got that same finish. If you go to wipe that off, I don't know if you're gonna have a dull spot there forevermore, or if you go to paint it, you're never gonna match the paint. Regardless, it's not their property, they shouldn't be doing it, so they have to cease and desist. So that was the discussion we had about the pigeon painting, and I don't know where we're at when they broke into the pool area. I was led to believe that they got video, but I don't know if it was clear enough video to make it to prove.
No, it's not.
So. We brought it up at the joint meeting, and the general unanimous consensus was charge them. They can't be breaking into places or defacing public property. Some people consider it art, it's past art. It's not art. Artist doesn't paint the same thing over and over, so it's just defacing property.
You might, like,
Don't go ahead.
so this is just my opinion. One, it's tagging, so it's not art, it's tagging. You're tagging something. So whether it's a gang symbol, swastika, a pigeon, or a falcon, it's not wanted, it's not your property, and you're painting, it's vandalism.
Yeah.
So, and then if they come into our property while it's locked, that's break and entering.
yeah,
And if they paint their public property or doors, we can't help what they do on other buildings because that's other people's property, but our property ourselves.
Yeah.
So if we find out who's doing it or whatever, I'm more than willing, if the evidence is there and the police are gonna pursue those charges, like we heard them tonight. We have the evidence, they're gonna pursue it, then I say we do charge them for vandalism and breaking and entering.
Yeah.
Because that, just because someone thinks a pigeon's nice, I don't think a pigeon's nice, or maybe I think the pigeon's nice, but it's not up to me to decide what belongs to everybody, what should be on it, right? So if we had to go through a big, long thing for the side of that post office to be painted with, truth and reconciliation thing, whatever, we gave up the side of ability to do it, we had to go through a long lengthy thing for someone's art.
right,
Well, what gives someone the right to just decide I'm gonna do my art anyway?
yeah.
Right? So especially on our property. So again, personally, I can't help what people do to the old bank or to the credit union or whatever. I understand that, but as a town itself and our, probably our partners, we can't have people breaking into things and tagging it or painting it just because they think it's fancy. This isn't their, like, they live here in the community, but it's not their community. They don't get you wanna do that to your house, fine. But this isn't yours to deal with, so we're recording, hopefully they're listening to this. If we find out who you are and whatever, myself personally, I'm gonna push really my hardest to get you charged. And clean up everything that you've just tagged.
Are you, what's your thought?
Agree.
So then that's the general consensus.
You betcha.
Okay, all right, we'll let you guys.
Fire,
You guys going or?
that's up to you guys. I'll see what.
It's a storage shed fires is probably a pretty big one.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
You gotta
Gotta
go.
go.
Gotta go.
You better go.
Can we
We'll still
continue,
be
are you
here.
going Brady or?
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, thanks. Hugo Brady, are we able to continue the
If you
meeting?
guys wanna, if you just wanna keep track of the resolutions, I'm okay with that. If you
Yeah.
guys are okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
What's
Said
that?
we'll be here to get
Just-
back.
just
We'll
get,
be left.
Just
Don't
say-
be.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Okay, all right,
Hey, stay safe.
be safe.
Just, the Allen wrench hangs right by the door, just lock the door and
Okay.
Okay, all right. Moving on, the social media community effects, we already discussed that. So the other thing is the AMM Fall Convention. I guess we've seen the convention call come out and I don't know, we have to start thinking about who's going. It's in
Decision,
Winnipeg. So give that some
What's
thought.
that?
AM convention in Winnipeg in November.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Yeah.
gotta decide by October.
Yeah,
I think
so give it some thought. I'll probably go, I go every year, so. it's
I'll
up to you.
probably go, I got nothing better to do.
So.
I haven't gone for
You
2
thinking
years.
about it?
I probably can't go this
Okay,
year,
no, it's fine.
maybe next.
Yeah, I haven't gone in 3 years, so it's probably
Okay.
good.
Well,
You
you
gonna go,
got,
Bill?
well, we went last year, I think, wasn't it?
Doesn't matter, you're going this year. Think about
I
it.
don't know, we'll
And
see.
everybody, all
So
5 of us went
next
every
meeting,
year.
you're gonna bring this up?
Okay, so that's food for convention.
Okay,
The MEC attendance and conference and module training. That's the, what is that?
that was Cali, wasn't it, that the
Yes, that was Cali.
emergency training?
Emergency, yeah, Manitoba Emergency College attendance at conference. I think
That was
wanted-
done,
that was done.
that was
Okay.
done, I believe.
Aggie bed push, I think we're all aware of that. It come out.
Yeah, it's been
Aggie
advertised.
pushes the bed, you know, so just kind of FYI. We have Rail Safety Week. We have a resolution, I'll read for that. We have resolution number 221-24, whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 23rd to 29th, 2024. Whereas 229 railway crossing and trespassing incidents occurred in Canada in 2023, resulting in 66 avoidable fatalities and 39 avoidable serious injuries. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railway rights of way are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways and obeying established traffic laws. It will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas the Operation Lifesaver is a public/private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. And whereas CN and Operation Lifesaver have requested City Council to adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including our municipality. Be it resolved that council support National Rail Safety Week to be held from September 23rd to the 29th, 2024, moved by,
Debbie,
seconded by
Sure.
Johnny. Pretty straightforward. Any questions, comments? Nothing? All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Medical home purchase, so we're all aware of that.
Yeah.
No need to hash that out.
no,
Okay, so I'll read this resolution. Resolution number 222-24, whereas obtaining housing for medical staff has proven to be very valuable recruiting locum and temporary staff. And whereas council is of the belief that owning a property for medical housing is in the best interest of the community of Carberry. And whereas the property available is in a prime location being directly across the street from the hospital. Be it resolved that council purchase 337 Toronto Street at a total cost of $162,309.93. And further be it resolved that the funds be paid from the following: $100,000 from the healthcare reserve, $62,309.93 from the future capital infrastructure reserve. Moved by,
Yeah,
seconded by. Tony? Pretty straightforward. Any
Busy
questions?
blocking flies, sorry.
All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried.
So do you mind if I just, that's for medical housing?
Yeah.
yes,
Yes. It's right across the street from the hospital. That's what it's been used for right now.
Yeah.
The current owner bought it and the Health Action Committee, the town of Carberry, North Cypress Line were three-way pay rent for the house. And when the house came up for sale, the owner wanted to sell it. We figured that it would be a no-brainer to buy it
Okay.
for locum doctors,
Paramedics.
potential, yeah, paramedics,
Nurses,
agency nurses, anybody who's carving.
rec techs,
So
Yeah.
that's just like temporary housing for hospital staff?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, could be
basically,
used
yeah.
for medical stuff.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Just Shut it down and do a week or two, you got a place to stay in your place.
No, Brock's old place on the other side. So that's what that's about.
And thank you for for all your assistance into that.
Yeah, that's, by the way, if you're reporting that, that is solely owned by the town of Carberry.
yes.
So. Engineering review. We've all read the engineering review, I'm assuming, for the lagoon, the preliminary stuff from, what's his name,
Yeah.
used to be Samson, but you know, we worked for him, yeah,
My brain's Mandel.
Burns Mandel. So, what was it, $8,000-ish?
Out of here, fine.
Mhm.
So, okay. I don't think there's much, it's fairly straightforward. I don't think there's much to report on that. We're just moving forward with the possibility of having to expand our lagoon, so we're taking the necessary preliminary steps. It was a
Well, it
mouthful.
was to figure out the present cost,
Yeah,
and there's options that we could possibly lower the cost.
and possibly get some more grant money. We've been given grant money from the province. But with the cost of everything skyrocketing, I think they need to pony up some more money, so anyways, that's another story. We have we have add invoice to taxes, we have resolution number 223-24. Be it resolved that council add invoice number 2024-00090 to roll number 24900 in the amount of $70.80, moved by.
Debbie,
Seconded by.
Yep.
Any discussion? Straightforward. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We have some reports. And we have a Mr. Krista Boganis who's gonna give us the youth councilor report. The floor is yours.
Okay, so some of these happened just over the weekend and on Friday, just because of. There's a long weekend from school, so.
Yeah.
So school census, there's 321 students attending Carberry Collegiate now. On Friday, there's the Terry Fox barbecue and the welcome back scavenger hunt around town. And my team won.
good for you.
Varsity boys won the tournament 2 weeks ago Friday in Glenboro. And volleyball season is starting and we have 6 teams. Cross country running has started their training. We have 10 students from Carberry participating in Meeple football. Our president and vice president for student council, our president is Casey McCorkdale and our vice president is Jackson McCutcheon. Team clinic opened up last week. all students on September 27th are going to the Indigenous Culture Day in Mi'kmaq. High school goes in the morning and middle school goes in the afternoon. There will be messages from elders, powwow, hoop dancing, jingle dancing, bannock and other traditional foods there.
What date was that?
It's September 27th.
Thank you.
Oh, bomber game.
That sounds interesting.
And the nutrition program, which was a grant from the government for all the school divisions, are specifically got $50,000.
Oh, good.
So that's stuff like apples, bananas, granola bars, muffins in the morning for students can't who can't have breakfast for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Wow,
So that's
That's nice.
yeah,
that's
that's
starting.
cool, yeah.
Who administers that? That's not administered by the student council, that's the school itself.
Yeah, that's the school itself.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's picture day on September 18th, and for RJY it was on the 13th. And tonight there's an evening for parents in the multipurpose room at Kirby Collegiate.
I just hate those evenings.
It's being led by Allison Forsyth. And it's no cost to attend, and it's about creating and maintaining a safe environment for students. And the peer mentors and the yearbook committee has been getting started. That's all I have now.
That's
Thank you very
good.
much. Good job. Just further to, as youth counselor, are you on the student council? Is that?
I am not on the student council now,
Okay.
but.
Just further discussion that, I mean, you heard sitting around about the Facebook and the troubles that it can lead to. Wouldn't hurt just to get the word out there to the young people in the school, watch your Facebook stuff. Cause this is what it can lead to, just FYI, start them young and make them sure that
Yeah.
you're not putting.
And, pardon me.
Are they selling potatoes this year?
Yeah, they should be very shortly.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Good report.
We have a public works report. I think everybody should have read it. It was fairly short and sweet.
Yep.
We got them a couple of trucks. It was within the budget that we budgeted for, so we don't have to raise money for it or raise taxes.
They
What
got a
else?
they got a sidewalk done by the body shop.
Yeah,
What else have they been up to?
they got a couple of entrances to sidewalks around that same area. And yeah, they're just doing what they're doing.
I'm hoping they can get enough time in to paint those lines on Fourth Avenue for the walking path.
Yeah.
And on, by the body shop on that street. They said they could do it, and I'd like to see them do it.
All right, any questions or concerns about public works? No, good. CAO report, did we have a CAO report? I don't remember seeing one.
I don't remember seeing them.
I thought I read one, but I don't remember what it said.
Okay, all right, well, let's get back to that one. The economic development report. I don't actually remember seeing that either, did I skip by that? I think it's highway signage, Portage Arena ads, pamphlets, U of M, fairly straightforward, archives project drop-in proposal, I think that's all fairly straightforward by what Kara was. Are there any questions about any economic development?
I think the drop-in proposal was have young people be able to use.
Yeah.
The drop-in.
Yeah, there is a drop-in proposal. And it's pretty well worded, and we'll see how it goes, no guarantees. We have committee reports. Protective services, well, we just had the police here, so was there anything from fire or?
No,
Got a fire meeting tomorrow night?
Yeah.
There's a fire going on now.
Yeah, well, there you go.
there's fire.
Okay. Public Works, I think we just covered that for the.
Yep.
Buildings, I was out at the dump today and they're doing some I guess that falls into the next one, but this building out there, they're doing concrete work out there, getting the building out there to get all done. Does anybody, have you anything on buildings?
No, but, I could bring it up now with that lady that was here. Wanting, saying that they're going to cater to some of these meals, perhaps they could rent their hall. If they needed to have a big venue,
I think that that's what she was
Yeah, she
talking
said
about
they had to
with,
look at it.
yeah, that'd be ideal.
our,
I think she said she was.
yeah,
Okay.
she was
Said, yeah,
Kara
okay.
and
Okay.
Callie, she was talking to both of them, I
Oh,
think.
okay, good.
And these are in.
Mhm, and churches, she said.
Further to buildings, I forgot to bring this up at the drop-in, and we'll have to put it on our agenda for the next buildings, the drop-in center.
Thank you.
Debbie would like to install a door, separate door into her office, so she doesn't have to walk out if there's a function on. I didn't see a big deal with it, but that's,
Like an outside door.
yeah,
Makes sense.
so she's coming and going and.
Yeah, she doesn't
She can
have to
just-
leave and go next to the
Yeah.
store and walk back in.
So I said,
Yeah,
we'll put it
makes
forth
sense.
for our buildings and,
You take much, put a door in the wall.
yeah,
That might be an interesting job.
well, that corrugated steel, but
Yeah,
Well, you can't do it in that ante room either because I think there's electrical stuff in there.
put it underground.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I think that's it for buildings. Anything on waste management, Bill?
Yeah, I got something.
You got something?
Went to a Evergreen meeting this morning.
Yep.
Cell number 3 was full, so they dug out 1 and 2, or 4 and 5. And they had the engineers in on Friday, did all the tests, sent the letter to the government. And lo and behold, the government got back to us this afternoon. They're ready to roll, that meets all the requirements. But the 3 that was full has now settled, so they think they get another 3 before they use it, but they can use it right away.
So that's 4 and 5.
They got 3 full cells, well, the third's almost full. And then gasifier. I don't know if you know what that is. It's only been a 5-year project.
You know,
They had an engineer in on Friday and he did all the tests and it's gone to the government. And hopefully they get back as quickly on this, but they haven't so far. And as soon as we get government, we can start doing shit with the gasifier.
wow,
Still who owns it,
Gasifier.
it's still, it's
Where's that?
it's a big machine. It's like a car, like the storage bins,
Okay,
like that,
Secan.
a sea can,
okay,
about that size.
right, okay.
And it's got an oven in it. So you put all your burnables in it. It burns it, makes methane gas, which we can use in the offices there for heat. And you don't have to put it in recycle bins, you don't have to store it, you don't bury it, it's gone, it's all ash. And the ash, there's local concrete companies that said they will take the ash.
Nice.
it's
So
been a pain.
this came up about 5 years ago. A guy in Rapid City developed it. It's been around for 40 years apparently. Like it's been in Florida for a long time. So he made this. He said, "Can I test it on your property?" And we said, "Okay." So then we tested it. Everything was good. And then it was like, "Well, I own it, so you can't do anything to it." It's like, "Well, then we'll rent it." "No, I own it. You can use it." And so it's been a legal battle for like 2 years now. And we're still not quite to the end of that, but we're using it anyway. So
Good.
Okay.
once the government says we're good, we're good.
Archives, I got nothing on archives because there hasn't been a meeting.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a meeting. I gotta go to a meeting on Wednesday.
Arts Council,
Yes, I was at a meeting on September 9th. They've got a couple of grants that have been applied for, denied. But Tamara was gonna talk to Kara about putting in a different type of application
Okay.
to upgrade it to hopefully get old business. They have piano recital again this year. There's going to be 3 sessions, 5 new participants. They only had 3 spots left open, so that's going really good. Guitar lessons, piano lessons. There's going to be a confidence club and a bracelet making craft center at the Seton Center. Had 27 kids this year. Upcoming events, there's a movie for pianos, students, I guess that's over September 14th that happened this last Saturday. They've got a handmade market, coming up November 16th. They have 8 vendors already. Some of them have booked 2 tables, and that will go from 10 to 3. Carberry's Got Talent, they're hoping to make this a success and bring in not only our talent, but talent like all ages, sorry, on November 24th, and there will be a youth business fair sometime in May. After school arts program will be going on. Their stained glass workshop is full. Pat Graham is going to be running that. And they have a lot of other workshops that have been booked. Tamara's been doing a really great job in organizing these. They went over some suggestions for bringing in more funding. They need to send a letter to the Building Joint Council Committee for their lease. It's up, so you'll be getting the building committee will be getting a letter on that.
Okay.
And they talked about seeing if they could get a liquor license at one point and then decided against it.
Drop and tried that too. They talked about it and they said for as much as we get out of it, and the more of a pain it's gonna be, it's not worth the
Yeah.
hassle.
And they decided on the same thing. I have one outstanding issue from this committee. Regarding from last year, a piano payment hadn't been made yet.
Oh,
And Tamara was kind of, she said she sent 2 or 3 emails to the person. And we talked about adding it on to taxes, but this person's renting.
oh, piano lesson. Oh, okay,
Lessons
I got it.
already gone by. It's already done, over with.
Okay.
So I volunteered to phone this person and see what I can do with working out a payment.
Okay.
That's what I do every day of my life, so. Yeah, so that's kind of
Sounds good.
that.
Thank you very much.
Just a question for the after school arts program, what does that include?
They'll go in and they'll make arts and crafts for the kids. They usually walk from, it's usually elementary school kids that go, but they'll do crafts with them after school. It's usually from 4:30 or 4:15 till around 6. So they'll go to the town hall basement where they can participate in whatever craft is being made that day.
Sorry, till 6:15?
About 6.
About
Yeah,
6?
6, yeah, 4:15, whenever school's out.
Yeah.
Till 6, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's a really good program, lots of kids. And I know one of the moms was talking about safety of the kids walking. And sometimes the older kids in grade 4 will walk with the younger ones and they'll all come down as a group. So that they're all walking together for safety issues.
Very good. Cemetery.
We
Nothing
didn't
to
have-
do in the cemetery?
No, we didn't have a recent meeting, but who was I talking to about the windmill? Apparently they're still working on it.
The saga continues.
I'll have to talk to Robbie, see what he knows.
Okay, museum. Museum, I think
That's
that's
probably
one.
like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
Handy Van Seniors.
Nothing new there that I know
Debbie had put a posting up about needing drivers.
looking
Is
for
that
volunteers.
of. Oh, yeah. looking for a
volunteer
volunteer.
drivers? Is that for the handy van or is that just
No,
drivers of your own
to
car?
take people to appointments.
Mhm.
yeah, it's probably your own vehicle, I'm assuming,
You get paid
expenses.
expenses.
Yeah.
But
Give you
you
gas and a
volunteer your
meal or
time.
You
whatever,
volunteer
yeah.
your time. Okay, I just didn't know whether she was looking for an actual registered driver for the handy
No,
van.
no, it was for personal vehicles.
Okay.
Anything in the library?
The main library in Brandon's meeting is Wednesday night. So there'll be that meeting and then I'm not sure when the local one is.
Can we back up one thing?
Yeah.
We should talk to her about a vehicle. If there was a vehicle that was owned by the handy van committee, then you could probably get volunteer drivers. People don't want to put mileage
No, they
on their
don't.
own
So they still
vehicles.
have that small,
No, that was sold.
was it? Okay.
We got good money for it, but it's sold.
No, maybe that's something we can talk about
What we
budget
should,
time, right?
should look at is something,
Get a
that's,
truck like we
that
did for the
you
town.
could take 3 or 4 people
Yeah.
in at a time, make it
Mhm.
worthwhile.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Sorry about that, everyone.
that's all right.
Everything
There's
okay?
some that you can kind of. Look,
Yeah,
some guys, implement shit's not one of them.
Okay.
All good though.
good.
We're just on committee reports. Mike.
Okay.
So we're at the health action right now.
Right.
Health action.
Oh, Dr. Bouchard heard of it.
Yeah.
Today, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she's happy. Keep her day full.
yes.
Seems very nice.
Are they taking new patients?
Yes.
You're supposed to go and put your name on the
Get
list.
your name on
Got an
it.
email, we're interested, we got a new doctor, so, yeah.
This guy's a good dude,
The
doctor.
fiber.
Yeah, it was announced Dr. Dahlia Bouchara. And we have high hopes for another one that's just that close.
Sorry, her name's Dahlia.
Dahlia, Dahlia.
I think it's DALA.
Had to get her right.
I already wrote it down, it's too
Yeah.
late, so.
Bushara.
I think it's just DALA. You're thinking Dahlia.
Dahlia.
Okay,
You know, it's good.
let's search for another one.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I did a couple of several interviews last week about state of healthcare and other things. A bunch of us did a podcast with CBC. A doctor from Toronto came out, and the podcast is called White Coat, Black Art. And apparently it's a well-known podcast. I don't listen to them, but anyways, he came to my house, did an hour interview. He did one with Loretta Oliver, did one with Grady, met with Sherry in the hospital. We took him over. He got a tour of the hospital, so he did the whole thing. He was here to give a talk at Brandon University on Saturday, I believe, and he heard about Carberry because we're out there, and he
Yeah.
wanted to stop and talk to us, so, yeah, it was a good one. We took a bunch of pictures because it's not only gonna be a radio podcast, it's also gonna be on the cdc.ca. So
good.
we did that just to get some more exposure. And yeah, that's about all we have. We have an opening for a health action committee member.
From Tom, right?
Yeah, so we haven't made a decision yet, though, have we?
No, I think there was a few applicants.
Yeah, there's a few applicants, so they're gonna go through that and get back to us. We'll have to appoint whoever it is from this table, so.
Yeah.
Planning, we had a planning meeting the other morning at 10 o'clock. It was just fairly straightforward. I don't think there was any earth-shattering stuff.
No, there wasn't. Not, or we can officially issue the industrial, building permits and
Yeah,
stuff now.
part C, yeah,
Okay,
Part 3,
C. Isn't it, or 3?
part 3.
3, my bad.
So in other words, any great big commercial property or a farm implement or farm building or potato storage, we issue the permits, our planning area,
no,
not the
okay,
government anymore.
Okay.
So we can do that.
That's about it, eh, Bill?
Yeah, that was it.
So we have a rec board meeting coming up this Thursday, right? Is it this Thursday?
September 26th, isn't it?
What's that,
next
week?
Thursday.
Next Thursday, okay,
Yeah.
sounds good to me. And so there's nothing to report there. We got White Mud.
Had a meeting back in August. There's nothing major, we just get together and
Same
talk
old,
about
same
much
old.
nothing.
Yeah.
They do it at the main board and we just go, okay. But I do have another Cinnamon Delta Aquifer meeting in November.
Oh, okay.
I was on the original group of that many years ago.
Yeah.
When you were a young man.
Well, younger. What's that?
So was I.
You were.
Daycare committee.
They have a meeting tonight. Unfortunately, I'm here, so I can't be at that one. But they did have the pie in the face thing set up to help raise money, so I know I was there, Grady was there, and the chief, John. I think, I don't know about a few others, but we were there representing the town and the fire department and ways to help them raise money, so that was good, so. I'm not gonna speak for them, but I personally think others that came up for that, it's only. 15 minutes, but it was fun, little kids mostly,
Yeah.
5 minute baseball, that was, good sign against them. Other than that, when I find out more about the future stuff, I'll say it on here so they can get the word out on their fundraising.
All right, that's it for committee reports. We'll read this resolution. We have resolution number 224-24. Be it resolved that all reports be received by council as provided or presented. Moved by,
Mike,
seconded by,
Yeah,
all those in favor.
We have one other report, the CEO.
Oh, yeah, CAO, did you?
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a few things written down.
Okay, all right.
sorry, Grady.
No, that's okay. You don't have to have it, but.
Yeah.
So I was away for a couple weeks on holidays, which was great to get away for a little bit. Last week we had our Manitoba Municipal Administrators Conference and I got suckered in and subsequently elected as the vice president of our association.
There
So,
you go.
You're here.
I think it's gonna be good for us as a community. It's gonna be good contacts, good exposures and some networking with some good organizations in the province. So I think that's gonna be positive. Yeah, the social media thing took up my whole day today. It was a busy day, lots of emails. I do have one letter to read in the correspondence from that. And then I am at a course on Thursday for conquering team dysfunction. So that's in Portage. So
Spread it to all of us when you learn.
Did they have extra seats?
Yeah, I'd love to go.
So yeah, that's kind of where things are at. The staff in the office here was great while I was away on holidays, and while Teresa and I were away last week, and everything's coming along nicely. We're expecting the next couple of weeks to be quite busy here with tax dollars coming in, so that's hopefully anyway, there's still just under half outstanding. We're hopeful that it's
I'll get
busy.
around to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
on my desk at home.
so we have the resolution that I read that was moved by Mike and seconded by Bill to receive the reports. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have some communications going on. We have MTI, the Highway 5 bypass request. I think we talked about that, right?
bypass or
That's
what?
that one with the big breaks and stuff, speed limit.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
the letter saying.
Hey, that's town property.
Yep.
That's not the school division.
No, this is the Shallow Military Family Resource Center.
Donated to us, which now is ours, John.
So we talked about the
And-
AMM fall convention. When's the deadline we have to have that? So we know.
It's in November.
Oh, okay.
November, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, first week in November, I think.
usually, yeah.
So like the 6th or
We'll
7th,
have
somewhere
to-
around there.
Do resolutions at the next meeting to do pre-approval, so.
So then we have the AMM Executive Committee election, which happens at that time. So if anybody wants to run for president of the AMM,
Bill.
now's
No.
the time.
Not interested.
Shiloh MFRC Symposium invitation to attend. I think Kara sent out.
Yeah.
A request for that. Do we have a resolution or she just goes or?
No, it's a part of our plan and our budget, so
All right.
it's just information. If anybody would like to attend, I'm sure she'd appreciate support while she's there, so.
Yeah.
Just let her know.
Can I skip this next one, leave it till the last and then?
Sure.
Okay, the Legion Remembrance Day wreath. I guess that's laying the wreath at the Remembrance Days.
Yeah, $35, we do it every year, so.
Yeah, kind of straightforward. Okay, sounds good. And we have Jenna Kansky Rakedell social media post. That is a greedy thing.
Yep, so I have a email here from Jenna Kansky-Rechdel. And she says, hello, my name is Jenna Kansky-Rechdel, and I am writing in regards to your post about social media. I would attend in person, but I'm away on a work trip until Wednesday. I'm assuming that the part of your post that talks about misinformation is about the post involving a catfishing situation. My daughter was the victim. I had gone to both the parents and the school following this incident. I was met with incredible unconcern. I would like the opportunity to tell our story to you as well as everyone else that wants to hear it. It not only involved the deception and mental abuse of my daughter, but a colored child was also called the N-word and told she should be put in the ground by this same perpetrator. I had wanted some punishment for the perpetrator, as in suspension, loss of phone, really anything, and I had also asked that I be provided with proof that the perpetrator was in intensive therapy, so that I knew both of these girls were safe staying in school. I never received that. She was never punished. She had her phone the very next day and was never suspended. When asked about the racial comments in a meeting involving parents, school principal, and students involved, the victim was asked by the perpetrator's mother what the context of the racial comments was, because that apparently made all the difference. We need the parents of this community to know this story, as it's been proven that the perpetrator is still doing this to this day. And the damage this has done to our family cannot be fixed. Our daughter has moved away and will not even step foot in the town, leaving her parents and siblings. We turned to social media because our attempts to inform the perpetrator's parents had been left unanswered, and we purposely left names out, as our intent was not to expose but to make other parents aware. We had attempted a meeting that was open to all parents and another attempt to warn people, but that was unsuccessful as well. All we ever asked for of this was that the perpetrator get help, the victim be respected and given the space he needed that was never given to her. The word misinformation keeps being used in relation to this, and it is not misinformation. And it is damaging to the victim to have people taking away her validation. Again, I would like for an opportunity to tell our story publicly, not on social media, so that it cannot be misconstrued and so parents know what is happening in the school before there is more long-term victims. And I did respond to that, making sure that it was known that our statement today, our council statement today was not directed at any post in particular. Just to the general nature of social media within our community these days. And she appreciated that. So, you know, she wanted to get the story out there, not pointing fingers or naming names, or anything like that. And, you know, so that was the email.
Just a question, is that something that happened at the school or is something that happened outside of school?
It's not really clear where it happened by that. And I wouldn't want to speculate as to where exactly it happened, whether it was in or out of school.
I'm just curious if they attended primary or if they're even children, are they children? Because of the,
Yeah, it was school age. People, I don't know exactly what age any of them are. But my understanding from the email is that the child was attending school here and no longer does.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. Any questions, concerns, or anything about correspondence? Good. I'll read this resolution. Number 22524, be it resolved that all correspondence be received by council, moved by,
Mike.
seconded by,
Debbie,
all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Nothing added to the agenda, Grady?
No.
Good. We are time for around the table. The only thing I've got, a bill was brought in for a sidewalk over, help me with the name,
Oh, yeah.
Simcoe Street. Simcoe and Third Avenue.
yeah. Did we cover that, or are we going to have a resolution that came?
Yeah, let me grab it, but actually.
Oh, that's, what's his name, Rick Houston?
Yeah. He called me over when that sidewalk was being poured. I never made any commitments, but he poured a concrete pad, driveway / pad for a gazebo. And in part of doing it, there was a section of sidewalk, maybe that wall to that wall, that was town sidewalk that needed to be replaced. And they went ahead and did it. So he submitted a bill for the town portion. I myself don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's way out of whack, and it probably needed to be done at some point, so. But it's up to you. It's,
Yeah, it's $420 with tax for 15 feet of 4-foot sidewalk.
so do we,
For 15 feet?
A 4-foot sidewalk.
So do we need a resolution or do we?
That's about 2 years of cement, isn't it?
We can, like, it's within the sidewalk budgets, so I just think it needs to be made clear. For the future that the confirmation needs to be done ahead of time.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, I don't mind paying.
Yeah,
it, But
yeah,
did they ask first? If they haven't asked first, it's on you.
yeah.
So what's everybody's thoughts on it, go around Mike?
I just don't wanna set a precedence by, if we do something, then we just pay for it. Right, if it was, like, I think the rule on the sidewalks, if you do the work and you ruin the sidewalk, then you have to pay for it. I understand the intent, but if we let people just do stuff and send us the bill, then we don't really have control over where the money we've allocated for the year to go. I know it's in the budget and stuff, so.
Yes or no?
Sound like, but no,
No?
no.
Debbie?
No.
Marty?
No, not if you never asked first.
Didn't ask first, you should ask
Sure.
first.
He called me
You can
over.
always
and he
come to
asked-
council and sit down with us and
Mhm.
explain it.
He called me over, I went over, by that time it was done, so I'm a yes, so it's 1 yes, 4 no's, so okay, that's fine, I'll respect what council wishes.
And I will look into creating a policy on something like this happening that outlines the procedure.
Like I say, they can always come to council and we can change our minds.
Yeah.
We need it done, it was gonna get done anyways, if you can, but it's gotta be, you gotta say. Hey, Grady, I'm gonna do sidewalks, is that okay?
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise, like Mike says, everybody and their dog's gonna start doing the sidewalks in front of their house,
And then sending us the bill.
yeah.
I had AMM, I think we've discussed that, so do we need? Did we send any resolutions in, or we still have time for that, or?
So this one that we did for the RCMP tonight, is going to be. Because of the timing of what happened.
And that's in conjunction with a bunch of other.
Yeah, and all the municipalities in the district are, it's been shared with them, the same resolution, so. It sounds like that's gonna be put through, but normally they have to go to June districts, so that's the ones that we talk about usually in April and May to have done for June 1st and submitted.
Yeah.
It's normally how it has to go through the process. This is a bit of a exceptional circumstance.
So I got Deputy Mayor Calvin Oach.
I can't really think of anything much today. I'm going to say no for now.
Councillor Anderson.
I would just like to reiterate again, everybody, let's get along. We're all the same, we're all Canadians, let's talk it out, we may not solve the problem, but at least we're not gonna hurt each other.
Good, well said. That's it,
That's it.
Councillor Ray.
Just have a question on the property coming into town, the open field. Who owns that and can we ask them to mow their grass yearly?
Is that on the west side or the east?
West.
That's us, isn't it?
No. I can contact the owner.
I think
Okay.
that we asked, that's fine, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think I asked last year about that too, but it should have really been done
Okay.
at the beginning of the year. It's right, it comes right into our town, it should be mowed.
I did have one question. Are
Too
you,
late.
are you okay? What has happened with our housing that was supposed to take place at the corner? Is there anything happening there or?
It's been crickets for some time now.
Fizzled.
Okay, so should we be looking at plan B?
There is other things on the go right now in economic development that's being worked on, so.
Okay.
Yeah, there was some in the report that talks a little bit of that, so.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay. I must have missed that.
Carol, you got Debbie?
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Councillor Sudak.
First, just the homecoming was really great, the whole weekend from the Friday night firemen's celebration all the way till Sunday. Great entertainment, great food and great people and stuff. So that was fun. The vendors were great and the all the fundraising committees, if they're out doing something, whether it was collecting food or the daycare with the pie in the face, it was really good to see youth out there involved with that stuff, which is kind of fizzled away. So I could see it kind of coming back. So that's great. Even seeing our ex-youth counselor Matthew with the Red Bull,
Yeah.
Red Bull, bar.
Yes.
Giving out Red Bulls, so that was kind of, he was excited to get back to town with his partner and do that, so that was good. And then just on this, the things that are going, I just wanna say, like, I moved to the town and I fell in love with the town, and I want the town to be welcoming to everybody. So depending on, it doesn't matter which group of people you're with or which friend circles. I moved here because everything was, everyone was welcoming and it was great. I just like to see everyone kind of bring that back again and just, work with each other and enjoy each other's company and weekends and evenings and stuff like that, especially in the summer, so. Sort of say that.
And anything else?
That's it.
What about your?
I'll say that, I'll talk about it after until it's official.
Okay, all right. Okay, youth counselor Boganis.
I just want some more details on the podcast you said you were on with the Toronto doctor the Toronto doctor.
So. Loretta Oliver is a representative from the Health Action Committee, so he wanted her take on. All healthcare, recruiting doctors, the whole story behind how we got to where we're at. He wanted the same thing from me as the mayor and representative from council. And he wanted the same thing from Grady, basically as a CAO, and also I think from a emergency person perspective. You guys went out by the site and did?
Yeah, we talked in here for a little bit and then we went out there for a little bit as well.
Yeah, so basically he sat down at my place, we talked for an hour. He just wanted to go over everything from start to finish. So when we all came on this term a couple of years ago, we had a doctor that was about to retire. We had one that came out of retirement, but was about to go in a few months. We were down to one nurse practitioner. Our ER department was closed. So it was, how do we get to where we were 2 years ago to where we are now? Where we've got 2 nurse practitioners. We've got 1, hopefully 2 full-time doctors. Our EMS staff is pretty much up to par. We've looked after housing. We've got 2 apartments and a house that we use for accommodations for healthcare, doctors, nurses, and so on. And just how we got from here to here and where we go from here on. So once we get hopefully 2 doctors and we've got the 2 nurse practitioners and our EMS is in place and the ER is open. It's the maintenance going forward. We can't let that slip. So we have to maintain, we gotta be on them. We've met feverishly for the last 2 years. I can't even give you a count how many times we've had phone calls, meetings. And that has to continue to keep what we've got, to prove that the community needs doctors and healthcare stuff. So that's basically what the podcast was, it's just the information, and he's gonna put it all together. And I guess, I don't know when the podcast comes out, did he say?
No, relatively soon, but they're supposed to let us know when it's gonna be aired.
So, and his name was Dr.
Brian Goldman.
Goldman, yeah, that's his name, yeah.
Goldman Sachs.
White coat, black art happens weekly in CBC.
Yeah, and he doesn't just do healthcare, like he touches on different stuff, doesn't
Well,
he?
as it's the white coat, black art is what happens with doctors when they are faced with all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's illnesses, and sometimes it's institutional stuff.
Yeah. So just the journey from when we started this term to where we're at now, so that's kind of what that was about.
And then future plans for the healthcare?
Yeah,
Okay,
does that make sense?
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. You got anything, Christopher, for around the table, or no, that's it?
No, that's all.
Okay, Grady, you got anything? John?
Be interested to hear more about Jenna Kransky Ragdoll. She's referring to the inaction at the school.
I'll
to find it.
I'll talk to you about that after, if you
Okay,
have a minute.
yeah, I figure it probably,
If you're okay sharing, with me sharing your contact information with her,
yeah,
then I can do that and I'll leave it up to her to contact you.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Or actually, there is one more thing I had, Mr. McCollum wanted me to take these to you guys, cause we need more of these apparently, so.
Hey, pens,
More pens,
what's on them?
Carver Collegiate.
Carver Collegiate and a color.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow, look at that.
Nice.
Nice.
And if you want, you can add the last two pens.
Where you keep that?
You might need that in school.
We talked to her, give her my number as well.
Hey, stop giving away.
That's all you got, John?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you got, Krister?
Yeah.
Okay, if that's it, then we will go in camera. I got a couple things for in camera, so. I'll read resolution number 226-24. Be it resolved, the council move in camera under section 1523B2 of the municipal act to discuss personnel matters. Moved by,
Like,
seconded by,
Yeah.
all those in favor? Opposed, carried. Let's take